Okay.
Whoa.
So
that gets
We're not whispers.
That gets us no.
Oh, he thought you were.
Wait, so that
You
gets
thought
us
we
no
were.
information because we're
Just-
not allowed back now.
Masks.
We
He's
know
part
he
of the
comes back.
resistance.
Obviously. I mean, he runs their
So,
bar.
We're not allowed back, but other people are.
So
Why would we do this?
you head off to the tenement building.
Yeah.
Never been here before.
Oh wow, is this bar new?
So the apartment you're looking
Have you
for
heard about a mummy?
is on the 3rd floor of this like rundown old brick building. You can
Sorry, I thought I was helping.
you can head inside, and there's this main lobby. The
It's
front
fine.
door, of course, isn't locked, and there's like a clerk at the desks there, sitting behind like this iron cage with like a little window for keys, and he watches this like kid in a pink dress with blonde hair walk in. He's like, "Can I help you, miss?" It's like an older guy. He's got slick black hair.
What's the name of the group again? That the spirit warden.
Oh yeah, that's what they're called.
Warden business. I just walk up.
Get out!
He like goes, "What? Hey, hold on a sec here."
Wait,
Because he's wearing a mask too.
Are we within proximity?
We're outside.
There's a few blocks away. This was like a
Oh,
while back
yeah.
before you start shaking
Shit.
down the bartender guy.
damn! I would love to just walk in at that moment and just reinforce that.
So he like leans forward a bit and goes, "Wait, hold on a second." He like comes out from behind the counter and starts to follow you up the stairs. And he goes,
Are you sure you want to come? The ghost may take you. You are not trained to resist them.
and he like looks at you. You're wearing a pink dress, right?
Yes,
It-
and my mask.
Yeah.
It's
He's
very
like,
pretty.
Get out of here. What are you doing? Like,
It's just like a child.
I'm gonna keep walking.
Funny.
Do you really want to resist the wardens?
he goes, look, if you were a warden, I think there'd be some way you could prove it. Like, puts a hand on your shoulder, like slowly.
I grab his hand and I call a ghost.
Okay.
Oh.
Can we have to flash back into the future because this
it's-
guy might be dead?
It's always risky.
We
Standard
go
effects.
back and we walk
You
in
got
the
the
bar
power.
and it's like, oh no.
This-
Bye.
This is what people get when they just don't listen the first time.
6.
Yeah.
They just get ghosts called upon them.
So there's a
We're the shroud. We unleash ghosts.
There is a ghost. Let's see. There is a ghost who. Oh, I know. There's like a ghost of a man who is like emerges from the cement pavement outside, or not the cement, the brick pavement outside, and he's got like a face like that's half smushed in and stuff.
Sure.
He like floats in. So your compel is to get him to like attack this guy.
Yes.
Like this is that'll really hurt this guy. Like that could kill him.
As soon as the ghost show up, I'm going, take him.
Okay. So this ghost comes through the door, and it's like, and the guy freaks out. He's like, oh, jeez. All right, I'm sorry. Do
As
whatever you
soon as
want.
he lets go
Uh-huh.
and I'm free, I just turn around and start walking up the stairs.
You're not stopping the ghost?
No.
No.
Okay.
He
Oh
should
my
never
God.
have touched me.
Two people
there's
killed
this-
for no reason.
There's this terrible scream
We're murder
coming from
hobos now.
downstairs as this ghost like.
Are we gonna have to fast forward back because then we would have come in and he wouldn't have had to deal with this guy at all? It's time paradox.
What time paradox?
Is this happening in the past or
I'm
the
like
future?
2 blocks away in the past while you were shaking down the
It
side
happens.
of the bartender.
I
Two
think
blocks
it's
away.
same exact time. I think
They happen parallel to each other.
same time, but different
this
locations.
Different location. Okay,
Different
okay.
location.
Yeah, no, not the bar.
Yeah, I'm
So
totally in
simul-
a different place.
I
I'm in
thought-
a tenement.
Oh, okay. I
3
thought
blocks
I
away.
thought you were at the bar.
Yeah.
Sorry.
We were confused because you said in the past. It's like
Yeah.
simultaneously.
Yeah, now I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, so he like freaks out. You hear this terrible scream as you keep walking out there. He doesn't bother you anymore.
Huh. I'm sure he'll not bother anyone else anymore.
Yeah.
He shouldn't just grab little girls. Such poor form.
Jeez. All right. So you get up to the 3rd floor and you're standing before the door of this building.
I reach out.
We're scary.
We're murder hobos
Oh, you're
now.
gonna attune.
Mhm.
So hold on. Before you, what's your intent here? Like what's
Well,
How did it come
remember
to
I was trying to find information about Ulf, and I'm specifically looking for people that he might have wronged, spirits that
brought this
he
into
killed
the
because
house.
of
and your
Spirits action.
greed
I
for
see, okay.
power
I'm
and
looking for
lust
spirits
for
that
power.
have a reason
Brought
to
this
want
into
him
this house.
brought to justice.
right?
This house I built.
So
Oh,
risky sin.
oh, something fell.
There's at least a 5.
I guess it's controlled.
That's
And
cocked.
I'm not able to roll any real dice. Oh, 5.
5. Okay, so you get it, but there's a complication.
Yep.
Yeah. So, through the doorway, you can sense that it's not one ghost in this room; it's many.
Ooh.
And you can
Human trafficking, where they were left here to die.
you can sense this grouping of ghosts, like about 4 or 5 ghosts,
Oh wow.
all floating in a circle around a specific location in the room.
Oh.
They're just kind of hanging out there. You don't know what's going on, but you get the sense that all of these ghosts are compelled, whether by another whisper or some supernatural force.
Ooh. Is the door locked?
It is.
Is it heavily locked?
It's a tier 1 lock, so it matches your tier.
It's a tier 1
All right.
port.
I can get. How hard is it to just break a normal door lock? Like tier 1, does that just mean that I would have to like strike it with like
I mean,
a heavy object, or can I throw my body against them? Am I too light and weak?
yeah, you are a little
Yeah.
bit smaller.
Yeah,
It's pretty tough. I mean, wreck is a thing, right? Like,
Sure.
I'd say in this case, if you were wrecking, it would be desperate limited. That makes sense to me. There's a lot of risk
If
involved
people
in
just
trying to
let
break
us
this
find
particular
them
door
till
down.
right away, it wouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, people just
Why don't you
give
like
us
All right.
stick something
god
under the door?
powers.
I'm
That
going
have
to
jump
try
through
to
hoops.
tinker with the lock and get it open. Is that what tinkering tools
What?
are?
Shit's taking too long. Gotta call ghosts.
It'd be if
Oh,
you're
burglary glare.
Yeah,
burglary glare.
Time is money.
You know that word that has
Burglary,
multiple
yeah.
R's and L's in it.
usually
Asian people are not good with these letters.
Usually it'd be finesse
Okay.
to do it. But you can use tinker. That means you're like taking the lock apart.
Okay.
Right.
Well, I don't have skill in either one, so I'm going to have to roll 2 and take the lower.
Okay, so
So-
try to finesse. Let's see. But hold on. Before you roll, let me say the position so you can know whether or not
Alright.
it's worth it.
Oh, that's
Getting the
true.
lock open is still desperate. But you are tier 1, and you have burglary gear, so it's standard.
Okay,
desperate
so desperate standard.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. It's definitely desperate because it's 2 dice take the lower. If I get 2 1s, does that mean the lock murders me?
Nah, it just
It's like the spring pops out and takes you in the eye.
means the risk comes back.
That's a 3.
So no.
So
So you get down and you're like trying to get you're getting your tools in there and you're trying to get you rattle the lock a bit, and as you do so you notice that one of the ghostly forms notices it, and it comes streaming through the door, and it emerges, and it looks, as it comes to the door, you get the view of its face. It looks like this old warrior, like he's got like a grizzled face. There's a scar going down where his eye is missing.
yikes.
There's a number of like chest wounds. He's wearing this old armor. You recognize it as like this. Would you? Yeah, you would. You've had informal education. You recognize it as like old Skullflander armor. So like he's got like a bear fur
Viking
on
ghost.
one side, that sort of thing. Yeah, exactly. And he draws out the song sword and goes, "Grah!" and like just and hits you with it.
I expend my armor and resist his attack.
Okay, so you're gonna take level 2 harm then instead of 3.
Oh, it's still.
Yes.
Oh,
We're back
Now
to
you
this.
you can expend your armor, roll to resist as well to drop it down to level 1 if you want. Actually, I'm
wait, how
gonna.
does this- Okay.
So does it say
It says you may expend your armor
I tried
to
to talk
resist
it
a
out.
supernatural consequence.
Yeah,
So,
so-
it's not the whole consequence, it's just one tier of it.
Whenever you resist a consequence, I have the choice of eliminating it entirely or lowering the
Oh, okay.
consequence. So it's essentially giving you a free 6 roll, for no
Right.
stress. I'm gonna tack something onto this though
Okay.
instead of just the total harm. So it's gonna do level 3 harm, and it's going to terrify you. So you go running back down the stairs and go away from the door. Like it's scaring you off. So there's 2 consequences for
Sure.
this. So you can expend your armor to lower the harm to level 2, and then resist further to lower it to level 1, or you can resist the terror and stay here by the door and try to deal with this ghost in some way, or you can,
All right,
There's
so,
2 consequences
okay,
facing you.
So I'm going to definitely want to resist the harm.
Okay.
So it'll go down from 3 to 2 if I spend my armor,
Yep,
and then I have to do also resist to bring it down
to 1.
to 1.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do that.
Okay.
Is that also resolve again?
Yes.
Alright.
Dealing with ghosts.
And that's a 4, so I take 2 more stress.
Okay. And you didn't resist the terror consequence. So
Nope,
you
so I'm running
you flee in terror back
Excellent.
down the
Would
steps.
I do
I
you like
had
water?
hoped to
I
flee
will.
anyway.
I'm good.
All right, so that's like ghost sword.
Let's call it soul slice.
Soul Caliber.
I know. Go. So.
Okay, so you go running out of the tenement
Yep,
building. As
and
you
then run back
run
to
by, you notice that the
find
tenement
my
odor
friends.
is on the stairs, and he's like his eyes are wide open. He's up against the side of the wall, just like twitching. Like the ghost has fully possessed him.
I'm a little scared, so I don't have time for a snarky remark. But if there's any part of my spirit that is still like cognizant and part of my soul, as I'm running past, I'm like,
As you get out of the building, when you're like almost a block away, you hear somebody shouting for the blue coats to come to the tenement building. So let's talk about your prowl roll, because you're gonna wait around to see when Ulf
definitely.
comes by the bar, and then follow him to wherever he goes from there.
I mean, this is just regular problem.
Okay.
I don't feel like I need to push myself in this instance.
I'm gonna say it's risky standard.
Well, a 2 is my highest roll. So.
Okay.
poor Marco, we're gonna create all this mess, and then he's gonna be stuck dealing with it. It's like the blue coats arrive, and Marco's the only one left holding the bag.
Marco, good to see you again.
Dude, fuck that.
These are some awful rolls.
So this is a little
Oh,
later.
man.
If you've been standing outside the bar for any amount of time, you'd notice that a blue coat patrol like came by the tenement building down the thing, and they dragged this guy away who was like twitching and shuddering all over the place. There was like this one dude in like this like white cloth with like a couple of black bands around to keep the cloth on, like this kind of like the Assassin's Creed robe, you know, that sort of thing going down.
Sure.
It's got the hood up, and then he was wearing a flat mask over his face that's like totally just. It doesn't have It doesn't have mouth or nose holes or eye holes or anything. It's just a flat brass surface. And you recognize it as one of the spirit wardens. And he's like standing there like supervising the blue coats as they're dragging this guy out.
And
What?
so this all happened before we were kicked out of the bar?
No, this happened later, much later. After I assume you guys went home.
Well, we would have seen this in the street.
I don't think that we would have just gone home without reconnecting with the other team members.
Okay, well you can you could be there then while this is happening if you want to.
I feel like these were only a matter of minutes, so basically,
Yeah.
I would have fled the building and immediately come back to try to hook up with you guys.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we can say that. I was just trying to speed things along
Okay.
because I basically am treating this as 3 separate gather information rolls.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah, sure.
I agree with that. Like as soon as I hooked up with these guys, unless they want to stay for any reason, I'm out.
Okay.
No, yeah, just the point of getting us all back together, then yeah.
And we generally trust that Marco finds his way to connect with us because we generally don't know where he is because he's so good at his craft.
I told you guys weren't gonna be.
Yeah. But
So-
that doesn't mean we're capable of seeing you.
Yeah. So Ulf,
You are at this point.
It's like-
Ulf does come by the hook and the hammer.
Okay.
You recognize him immediately. He's like this big, grumbly guy. He's got like this. He still has this full beard with like several braids in it that you
Okay,
recognize as
cool.
part of his Skoglander heritage, skull heritage, I guess. Anyway, and he like pushes his way in. Are you?
Skull.
You're like waiting outside the bar, right? You're
I
not
was
going
gonna
in.
be on the building next to
Okay.
the
Cool.
thing, just so I could like see him enter and leave, and
He's
no one
gonna
would
go
see
in there.
me.
Yeah.
And that bartender's gonna tell him.
So you can hear like shouting and
Yeah.
laughing coming from inside,
Mhm.
that sort of thing. You can't really quite make out what they're saying, and then he at one point in the night he leaves. He leaves the bar, and you try to follow him through the buildings and stuff to figure out where he goes, but
Mhm.
you lose track of him at some point. Like he just wanders off into the night. And that's the result of that.
He does
Um,
come here.
Now remember, you can always resist consequences, right? So my consequence there of you having reduced to no effect,
Uh-huh.
you can always resist it if you want to.
Do I do another triple roll?
No,
And then-
what you'll do is you'll roll prowess. You'll take 6 stress minus the highest dice you roll, and then you'll reduce.
Oh, so I'll use
resist
prowess, so I'll still have 3 dice.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'll resist that consequence. I want to get something out of this
Okay.
encounter. So I'm going to take no stress.
Nice. There
Okay.
you go.
No stress from that. So you resist the consequence, so you can follow him, right?
Yeah, I will.
So you kind of get like behind him up on the rooftops, and you're following as he's walking through. He's like laughing. He's got a couple of refugee buddies with him, and they're like chatting and talking and stuff.
Mhm.
And they come across this like blue coat patrol. There's like 2 guys in this blue coat patrol who are like bugging this guy. Like they got the skull and they're like shoving him up against the wall, and they're like saying, here we can forget all about this if you just pay us what we're owed. They're like chatting to him. You can hear, and you can see Ulf like gripping the side, like putting his hand to the side of his coat for a second. He's like grabbing onto it, and the refugee buddies are like looking at him kind of weird, and he starts to march up towards behind the blue coats. Do you want to do anything, or
Oh, what could I
You're like watching this from the rooftops.
Why would you want to save the cops?
Because they could kill our target for us.
Yes. Assassinate.
Was
there
it
are
very specific
three
that I had to do
dudes-
the deed, or just that he needs to die?
There are
I
three
mean, if
dudes
you're
with
involved
him
in it, that's the idea.
and two
right?
blue coats, so we're outnumbered.
Okay, so
Even
it'd
if
be
the blue
my
coats
man did it for
decide
me.
to go with
Yeah,
me,
you can spell it that way.
I will get in a position to drop in and help immediately if it does turn to violence, because it needs to turn to violence first in order for the blue coats to use violence against him.
If we help the blue
Otherwise,
coats,
it might just be
Oh,
me
Nick,
versus
no.
everyone.
Nick, if we help the blue coats, then our level can go down, right? Like our wanted level could maybe back off a little bit.
Yeah, I save them and then tell
I
them
won't be happy if I hear you did
courtesy
that.
of the shred.
Oh, that
Courtesy of the shroud.
I know. We become
Yeah.
vigilantes that help the blue coats.
That'd be like a full score, but that would give you the in you needed to start doing that if you wanted to. Yes, I would say that.
Oh man,
But-
but
okay.
they're like refugee guys too. I don't know if they're any strong.
So here's what
This
happens.
is a big
so,
guy.
So Ulf walks up and you can notice that he's like gripping. He
Not
has
normal, though.
he has like this blade in his like in a sheath at his side. It's like put in there.
Mhm.
It's way too long. Like it's definitely legal, but and so
Okay.
he's like walking up behind these guys and he's got his hand on it and he like has his hand there and he puts a hand on one of the blue coats and they're like, what the heck? And he like pulls him back and they look up at him and he goes, what do you think you're doing? And they like stare at him for a second and goes, you should know better than anybody that the docks are my territory. Get the hell out of here. I'm gonna roll to see how much resolve the blue coats exactly have.
Oh man.
So they know about Ulf. They know what he's capable of. I'm gonna give him 2 dice.
Yeah,
for
he's so
resolve.
capable. He let a mummy into the city.
God damn
This
it.
new narrative
If
is
you
so
say it
outta
enough
here.
times, it becomes true.
It's true to me right now.
Whoa.
Partial.
Oh.
Okay.
So
I
they
don't have it any other way.
they like turn towards Ulf and they don't run away immediately, but they like look at him and they go, calm down, Ulf. We're not having this again, all right? You want to spend the night in the tank? And he looks at him right in the eyes and says,
Such disrespect.
he looks at
Do-
him.
Do the other guys look like? Are they armed? Are all the refugee guys armed? And
No, only Ulf's armed. I mean, they might have like a dagger hidden somewhere, but you can't see that from up on the rooftop. Unless you wanted to take pains to do so. They look kind of like worried because they're like, "You're not gonna kill some blue coats, are you?" So they give him this, and Ulf says, "Leave my friends alone. Get the heck out of here." And they look at him and they go, "All right, now, easy, Ulf. Doesn't have to be this way. He just owes us some cash. After that, we're all square."
Square cash.
So in our research of
A
Ulf,
better way to cash.
This episode brought
what
to you
do the
by-
blue coats think of him? Do they like? Are they okay with him, or are they
he's
like?
a thorn in their sides. He's tier 1 all by himself. He's causing trouble.
These blue coats are armed.
They are armed, yeah. They got
Okay.
like their clubs and their pistols. But he's also kind of scary. like taking him in as a pain, which is the main reason they haven't dealt with him already.
Mhm.
And so they say he just owes us some coin, and Ulf goes, coin? How much coin? Is it worth both of your lives? And they're like, no, it's not. Look. And they like look at the guy and they go, we'll be back, okay? Collect later. And they like turn around and walk out of the alley. And Ulf goes over to the guy and says, he says, you all right? And he says, yeah, thanks. You gotta stay away from those guys. They're like having this conversation.
I'm going to go over and I'm going to be like leaning against a building as the blue coats pass by.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
So you're gonna be there. So yeah, they go walking by. They notice, unless you don't want to be noticed, they noticed you.
Think I can help you deal with your Ulf problem?
And they like pause for a second, like glance over at you.
Ooh.
Who the hell are you?
Curious, an interested party.
And they like look back and forth to each other and go, "What do you mean deal?"
Well, some of his guys owe you money. We know that he's been a thorn in your side as of late. We have an interest in removing him from...
Your side.
No, removing him from his position, as it were.
But that would be murder. And murder's against the law.
Oh.
You're the law.
Who said anything
Who
about murder?
said anything about murder? I'm just saying remove him from his position.
How
He goes
so?
in.
By murdering it.
We set up a trap for him. I mean, we know where he frequents. We know where he goes home, or where he lives.
They like look to each other and they say, we can't set this up without confirmation from our captain. Look, what are you even getting out of this?
What are we getting out of this? This guy's awful.
No, wait. Are you saying this out loud? You
Yeah.
said we.
He's got a lot of mummy in the city.
Do you want to redact that, or just say that it's you? What are you getting out of this?
Yeah, we're merely interested in helping you with your problem.
So you're saying we as in like you're a part of something.
I am
Yeah,
a part. I am a
yeah.
representation
Okay.
of a group, of an interested
Yeah.
party.
Well, you're just making that clear. So yeah.
This guy let a mummy in this.
No, I'm not going to try and sell that.
The mummy.
I can't
No,
back that up.
he has no clue that I even said that.
It's true. He wasn't there when
He
that.
just thinks the same thing.
They go, look, the Blue Coats don't negotiate with criminals.
I'm not a criminal. I'm a citizen. He's a criminal. You're not negotiating with him. Why don't you take him in? There's plenty of evidence against him. It's bringing him in that's the difficulty. I'm willing to help you with that. We are.
Risky great.
Ooh, nice.
I'm not with you to help. I would have helped.
Now this is going to get you in the door to talk to their captain.
You are going to go into
not me personally. A representative of ours.
Sure.
will.
Whatever.
But I mean, this is
This
terrible. I'm
slate-
gonna push myself,
It's however he's pulling.
and I'm
it.
gonna.
Sway makes the most sense.
I'm gonna perform a superhuman feat of athletics.
No.
Backflip.
No. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Wow.
I proved my prowess by doing 3 backflips in a
Get out of
round.
here.
We
Be
can
like,
take-
ta-da!
That is
Yeah.
the best performance we've seen
Back-
in the decade.
Back in your hole, Weasel.
You start.
It says when you put yourself, choose one of these benefits. Perform athletics or superhuman.
You start doing capoeira.
I'm in a maneuver to confuse the guards. So
It's
they're
You can't even see
dance-
me!
Dance
All right.
battle.
they're
What that's-
swaying each other.
What that's supposed to be is that it means like you can do stuff normal thieves couldn't do. But
like
that's
convince the blue
I'm
coats
gonna,
of a dance
I'm
battle.
gonna steal their suspicions.
steal their life. 6.
Okay. Oh
What
no.
were you
Actually,
doing?
actually, it's 2 take the lowest. So a boost, a plus to that
That's
is
just one
just a
dice.
dice. Yes, I was doing that wrong.
There we go.
That's a 4.
Partial.
Nice.
They look at your backflips and think, those are good, but that doesn't convince us.
Well, I mean,
Those are some pretty great backflips.
one guy in like an alley isn't exactly the most convincing person.
Look at this backflip.
But look at his backflip. I'm a street performer by day, vigilante by night.
Listen, I know you don't think of me much now, but just wait a second. What about now?
They call me the living statue.
You get 2 tickets to Cirque du Soleil along with this deal.
Yeah.
I perform Fridays and Saturdays.
I'm the matinee.
They cuff you. So they look at you and they say, "All right,
Resist.
if you're hold on."
No, they cuff you
They-
to bring you in,
yeah,
so that it looks like you're being brought in.
they look at you and say, "All right, look, this gang of yours is really worth their salt. They can come and
Oh my
talk about
God.
it with us
This is
at
such
the
a bad
station.
idea.
That's the
We'd
plan.
be interested in further questioning."
I cannot
and
go
they pull out
into
the
the
cuffs and they
police
put them on you.
station.
Why would I just submit to being
Well,
cuffed?
that's the consequence. You can resist it.
I will resist
Yeah,
that.
please.
Absolutely. Is that a prowess resist?
It's
Please do not
yes,
associate
yeah.
a shroud with the police.
Ooh.
There's a 5.
So you take 1 stress.
I do take stress. I'm fine with that.
Ice. Nice.
Okay. So you dodge back,
Nice.
away from them putting the cuffs on you, and they move forward and go. Now, come on! I thought we were going to talk about this.
You do a backflip when they try.
You backflip away.
I'm merely a representative.
On my terms.
You continue the conversation.
An associate of ours will be in contact.
Like narrow their eyes. What are you just like leaving?
How about
them?
tomorrow at the station at 6?
We'll tell our captain, but we can't make any promises.
Fine. I mean, we both stand to benefit here.
Yeah. So,
Away.
do you leave? Or...
I like how
I'll leave.
this-
I'll flourish my coat.
This-
I'm wearing a mask this bunch the whole time.
I feel like this whole thing just
So-
isn't a score in any regard. Like
We're just fucking around.
the whole session will just be like intel.
So you
Yeah, well,
this
that's
is
a
cool.
score.
This is
yeah,
cool.
intel is a type of score.
Yeah.
you know one of the primary dangers of this deal is that the Bluecoats are going to try to get both Ulf and your gang. That's the danger,
Yep.
right?
They're
You
gonna
know that
try to
going
find
into
information
this.
about
2 for 1.
The person who goes in should not be one of our core members.